start over.
Sorry, Mark, you got to read that again.
All right, fine. Welcome everyone to the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting of July 23rd, 2024. The session is being audio and video recorded. We will not use a chat feature in this meeting. To ensure sound quality, the default rule for this meeting is that everyone will remain on mute. Commissioners and staff will generally remain on mute except when speaking or voting. This meeting is open to the public, but is not a public hearing. Therefore, no members of the public may speak unless specifically invited to do so. If a member of the public creates an audio or video disruption, they may be manually ejected from the meeting upon recommendation of the staff or chair. We appreciate your attendance at this meeting. Should you have any questions about this process, you may call our staff at 860-444-5813 after the meeting has ended. And with that, I turn the meeting over to the chair.
Great, thank you, Mark. Appreciate that. So, just as a word you brought up about leaving the meeting from the staff or the chair, I don't know why, but maybe it's coming up on my feed, but I see a lot of meetings on TikTok and different things where public meetings just get out of control, and we've never had an issue since I've been on here. So I think it's a credit to the commissioners, the staff, the public that comes, to the meetings. But it's great. We don't really never had an issue. So I think we have a full commission tonight, and Doris as a sub if anybody has to recuse himself. Do we have an approval of the June 25th, 2024 meeting minutes? Any corrections to them or anything?
I was not at that meeting, so I'm going to sit out this vote.
Okay.
Karen had mentioned earlier, Karen, I'll let you make the edit.
I'm happy to let you say it. On page 3, the bottom paragraph, they had mislabeled turfstone as turnstone. And I just, for consistency, in the first paragraph, it's turfstone. Asked them to change that to be turfstone with an F rather than an N. That was all I saw.
Great. Anybody make a motion to approve the minutes with that correction? Karen?
I can make a motion. Make a motion to approve the minutes from the is it May 28th? Oh no, wait, sorry.
June 25.
Sorry, June 25, 2024 minutes with the corrected turfstone on page 3.
Okay, we have a second from anyone? Tim? I'll second it. All in favor of the minutes?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? None opposed. Okay, great. Item number 3, we have an application receipt, PL-22-4, application of Kalisha Kedron to amend the Waterford zoning regulations, section 1, definitions, home occupation, cottage food operator. Application was received 7/9/24, public hearing required by 9/12/24. That's in our package, right?
Yeah, what I'd like to just mention on that one is that we have 2 Planning and Zoning Commission meetings scheduled before the deadline date of August 27th and September 10th. If everyone is okay with either of those dates, if you're not going on vacations or anything. I don't know if the commission would have a preference on which date would work out best for the public hearing on this one.
Okay, and so we can't do it the first meeting in August, or did we cancel that?
Right, because we wouldn't be able to do the required notification process.
Okay, great. Okay, anybody have an issue with one of them, or we'll pick it later on? I'll pick it when we're doing the agenda. Okay, we'll talk about it another time, Mark.
Okay.
Thanks. PL-24-12, request of James O'Leary, applicant and owner for coastal site plan review and approval for a single-family home on property located at 31 Riverside Drive, R40 zone, in accordance with sections 5.1.1 and 25.4 of the zoning regulations, and is shown on plans entitled Improvement Location Survey Site Development Plan, prepared for James M. O'Leary, 31 Riverside Drive, Waterford, Connecticut, Application was received on 7/9/24. Action is required by 9/12/24. That's in our package as well. And then item number 4, application review, request of James O'Leary for PL-24-12, applicant and owner for coastal site plan review and approval for a new single-family home on property located at 31 Riverside Drive, R40, zone in accordance with sections 5.1.1 and 25.4 of the zoning regulations, and as shown on plans entitled Improvement Location Survey, Site Development Plan prepared for James M. O'Leary, 31 Riverside Drive, Waterford, Connecticut. Action required by 9/12/24. Do you have anything on this, Mark or John?
No, not at this time. We can open it up for the presentation.
Okay.
Hey,
Who's here
Greg.
for the applicant? Oh, I'm sorry, Karen, did you say something?
I did. Sorry to interrupt. Just 1 second. I noticed that it said R40 in our agenda, but on the application it says R20.
These are.
Yeah, I
So,
think it's R20, isn't it?
I think
R20
it's-
on the plan. It is R20.
Okay.
Yes, yeah, for the record, Mr. Chairman, Norm Tebow, Killingley Engineering Associates.
Hang on 1 second, Mr. Chu. Hang on 1 second. So we're just gonna change that receipt for the minutes. Just put that. And we made that change too for next minutes. Anybody else have any other issues on it before we turn it over to the applicant? Okay, great. There you go. Thanks.
My apologies. For the record, Norm Tebow, Killingley Engineering Associates. I'm a licensed professional engineer representing Mr. O'Leary this evening. What you have before you is application for review of coastal site plans for 31 Riverside Drive for a single family home. The property is zoned R20, as you just noted, and what we have provided to the commission and for town staff review are both Form 1 and Form 2 of the application, accompanied by the design plans on the half-acre lot, and also correspondence from the Connecticut DEEP regarding the Natural Diversity Database review. So essentially, we're proposing to construct a single-family home with the associated landscaping, site improvements, and so forth. The house will be served by public water and sanitary sewer, so no on-site septic will be utilized. As a result of the construction of the house and a driveway, portions of which will be paved in order to address the additional stormwater runoff. The site plan has been designed with 2 separate rain gardens, one to intercept a portion of the roof water and some driveway water, and another portion of it for the front half of the roof. These rain gardens are positioned one in the front yard and one in the rear of the development. The coastal resources adjacent to the property is the Niantic River to the west. And there are residences, developed homes all to the north and the south, already constructed adjacent to this property. Riverside Drive is used to access, and that is to the east of the property itself. There is a direct access to the developed shorefront. There's an existing dock and mooring associated with the property. No additional work on the dock or mooring are proposed. And there really aren't any water-dependent uses associated with this property, but obviously for recreational purposes, the docks are there to access the waterfront. Regarding the coastal policies in accordance with the coastal area management application. The Connecticut General Statutes states that the coastal area is rich in a variety of natural, economic, recreational, cultural, and aesthetic resources, but the full realization of their value can be achieved only by encouraging development in suitable areas and protecting those areas unsuitable. We certainly recognize the need for the redevelopment, and in turn, eliminates impacts of the existing coastal resource areas. So with regard to these legislative goals and policies, these expectations include, but are not limited to, the use of coastal resources in a manner that is consistent with the capability of the land. We are not proposing any additional shorefront disturbances. As I stated previously, the dock and mooring are already currently there. We are going to be preserving and enhancing the coastal resources. Number one, there is an area along an embankment with invasive vegetation that we're proposing to remove by hand methods to reestablish some of the native vegetation there. And the project itself will not impact any areas that are prone to flooding. We have shown the flood elevation of 12 on the plan, and all development for this particular property is well outside of that elevation. And also, one other thing, the coastal policies encourage public access to coastal resources by utilizing state-owned and/or privately owned facilities that have been pre-developed as well. Regarding any kind of adverse impacts, we do not propose that it will create any adverse impacts. Obviously, during construction, we do have to be subject to the erosion and sedimentation controls that we are showing on the plans. Those will be put in place and maintained throughout the duration of the construction. I think one of the things that is very advantageous to this property is that it is relatively flat until you reach right near the coastal resource itself, where it drops off rather abruptly. But all the development is going to be well out of that steeply sloped area. So we're not proposing any regrading in that area that would interrupt any of the coastal water movement. We're not creating any kind of additional erosion patterns that may create problems with the coastal waters. We're not changing the drainage patterns or altering the shoreline, which would result in increases in coastal flooding. We're not impacting any essential wildlife, fish or shellfish habitat. There are not any tidal wetlands, beaches, dunes, or rocky shorefront associated with this project. Although it could be considered a small bluff or escarpment just due to the fact that there is a small retaining wall along the edge of the waterway that protects this property. And also the project will not have any effect on future water-dependent uses in the area, nor will it prohibit any current access. As I said before, the project proposes a single-family home construction. Best management practices include the installation of silt fence backed with staked hay bales, as well as an anti-tracking pad during construction. The post-construction conditions do not propose any direct stormwater discharges. The roof and driveway will sheet flow of vegetated surfaces and will be directed to rain gardens. And as far as measures that we have taken to lessen or eliminate potential adverse impacts, we really don't anticipate any adverse impacts at the completion of this project. As I previously stated, it would be critical to make sure that the erosion and sedimentation controls are maintained throughout the duration of this project to prevent any kind of erosion or sedimentation toward the coastal resources. And the subject site and the abutting properties are all pretty similar in that they are located in residential areas. And the water-dependent uses other than just boating or fishing really aren't relevant here. There's no commercial fishing or commercial boating or commercial shell fishing in this area that this project could potentially impact. I do have, I don't know if how much of the plans the commission is familiar with. I could certainly If you could
What?
allow me to share my screen, I'd be happy to share it with you folks and kind of go over it.
Let me see if anybody has any questions so far or any questions on the plan. Might be able to save some time, but let's see
Okay.
what anybody has for questions. Tim, please, Dale. Nothing. Tim Condorino? Nope, no questions. Karen? Rick?
No questions, Greg.
No questions. All right. I mean, I don't know. Does anybody want to go through the plans, or anybody want to make a motion? Certainly don't want to interrupt your presentation if you want, but if we can save
No,
time.
I certainly have no objection if everyone has reviewed the plans and they're comfortable with them. I don't need to make the presentation, but the offer is certainly there if anyone had any questions.
Sure, we appreciate that. And how about anyone want to entertain a motion? Just giving somebody time to volunteer for a second here.
And I'll make a motion.
Okay,
Make a motion to approve with the conditions, the site plan CAM application PL 24-12 at 31 Riverside Drive with conditions 1 through 4, and to find that the project as approved with conditions is consistent with all applicable coastal policies and includes all reasonable measures to mitigate adverse impacts.
for a second.
I'll second that, Greg. And just if I can note for the record that I think what Tim was referring to in the conditions is from our staff report from Mark.
Yeah, let's just add that to the conditions 1 through 4 of the staff report dated. Is there a date on this? Is there a date on that, Mark?
What is that? I'm sorry.
Is there a date on your report?
Oh, the date on the report is. No, but it can certainly be, tonight's date, the meeting date of, July 23rd.
We were given it with a date of 7/18 on this, on the support material front sheet, so. Is that about the date?
That'll be fine.
Okay, let's make that as conditions 1 through 4 of the staff report, dated July 18th. Is that good, Tim Condorino?
Yes, that's fine. Thank you.
Okay, and that seconded Tim Bleasdale?
Correct.
Okay, great. Any questions, any discussion on this application? Okay, let's call for a vote. All in favor of PL -24-12, request of James O'Leary, applicant and owner for coastal site plan review. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All
Aye.
opposed? All opposed, great. No, it's unanimous. So sorry we didn't get to see your presentation, but if there's no questions and we can move it
Okay.
forward, that's what we want to do. So
We're good. Thank you so
All
much.
right. have a
Take
good
care.
evening.
Have a good night.
Next item is Waterford Central Workforce Housing, 61 Myrock Avenue and 394 Willis Avenue Extension. Request to support the increase in the number of workforce housing units and reallocation of the previously approved restricted units from Waterford Woods Development Phase 1 to the Waterford Central Development. I have this under application review because I think we should probably take a vote on it at the end, just if we're going to support it, just take a vote on it. That's why it's under application review and as opposed to administrative review. So Mark and John, do you have anything, or just turn it right over to Mr. Daly?
I think that Kevin can probably do the best explanation of this, of what's going to happen. So I'd like to turn over to Mr. Daly.
Good evening, Mr. Daly. Just understanding that we have significant amount of material and we have the memorandum from staff in our packet that we've all reviewed. So the floor is yours.
You're on. You have to unmute yourself, Kev.
There we go. How's that?
Good.
Great. So what we're looking to do is, since we were giving up the 44 units of restricted affordable workforce housing with Chaffa on Waterford Central, which is basically Waterford Woods Phase 3. Waterford Central is the property owner, and Waterford Woods Phase 3, well, it'll eventually just be called Waterford Woods. There's one entrance, there's one clubhouse, there's one management company. It's just, there's 3 separate loans. Phase 1 has one loan, Phase 2 has another loan, and then with Washington Trust, Phase 3 has a new loan, which will be both with Liberty Bank and Chaffa. So we just wanted to do some housekeeping so that when years come, even though Phase 1 is just voluntary, 10 units, we volunteered to do it. It doesn't have a declaration of land use restriction covenants on it, nor does it have an affordability plan. So the state doesn't consider them legal affordable housing. They're just something we did for the town that we volunteered. And so we just, since now we're going from 10 basically volunteered units to 44 volunteered units, of which 18 we also included in this final phase. We just wanted to housekeep. There was no sense on having that. They're not real affordable housing, and they're really at our discretion under volunteering them. So the state doesn't count them. And so right now, they are occupied, Phase 1 and Phase 2. Some of them bled into Phase 2, because what happens is when people either, when they move out, which is usually because they age out of the unit, or their finances become greater than the allowable income level, or they just get another job somewhere else, they usually move out. But when they do, one of the biggest items is they no longer qualify for the affordable unit. We can't evict them. So what happens is we just go and find another unit in another building that's the same unit and make that one affordable. So you basically swap. That's how all affordables work everywhere in Connecticut. Even large, we have a 830G in Essex, and it's the same thing. People move around because you can't evict people, and you shouldn't. I mean, just because they got a raise doesn't mean they should lose their house. The senior people there, so when those people move out or age out, we will go ahead and get rid of that unit. There's a lot of seniors who we rent to, and those people will basically stay there. I mean, we wouldn't kick them out. They love their units. They're great tenants for us. So there might come a time where we have affordable units over in Phase 1 and 2, plus we have the affordable units in Waterford Central. And that would be just our choice, because we just don't want to kick the people out, because they're seniors, they're there. They normally age out or move away or something, but they're there for much longer periods than the normal younger tenant that we have who qualifies. The Chaffa affordables are strict affordables. They're monitored by Chaffa. They tell us which units to rent, the percentages. So they do it by model. So we have the Grantville, which is a 1-bedroom. We have the Quaker Hill, which is a 1-bedroom. We have the Great Cove, which is a 2-bedroom, and an Oak Grove, which is a 2-bedroom. So they do a formula on this chart, and basically they tell us how, you know, some are 60% affordable, some are 80% affordable. So for instance, the Grantville on a 60% affordable, there'll be 7 of them. The Grantville on an 80% affordable, there'll be 8 of them. The Quaker Hill, there'll be 15 until it equals 44. We can never, that model always, we always have to have that model as an affordable housing. They enforce that. So if somebody incomes out of a Grantville, well, we have to go find another Grantville to move the new affordable people in. And so if somebody moves out, well, that's fine. We can put another affordable in that same unit. And Chaffa does the qualifying. It's a very simple, they've really streamlined it for us, where they do the qualifying of the tenants. And it's a much stricter. It gets recorded on the land records with a declaration of land use restrictive covenants. It also doesn't have an affordability plan for the town because Chaffa takes that responsibility. But as John and Mark know, they give the town full credit as the affordable unit without the town having to manage the unit themselves. Is that correct, John or Mark?
Yes.
Yes, that's correct.
All we have to file with the state to count towards the affordable housing appeals list is the deed restriction.
Right. So it's very simple. So this program, which is an affordability workforce program, is meant to make it easy on the landlord and easy on the town who does it. So basically what we're looking for is to do housekeeping. We don't want to have these 10 voluntary units that don't count as affordable housing, just floating out there in the document, which they only show up in the, I think the minutes where Brandon Hanfield said, yeah, we'll do some voluntary ones. So that's it. We're not, basically the town goes from having nothing to having 44. I think that's pretty much it. Any questions?
Anybody have any questions, Mr. Daly?
I have a quick question. So the original 10 that you voluntarily called affordable aren't really affordable?
No, they're affordable. So under the 80% guideline, that's how we deem them affordable. There's guidelines that you use, Connecticut guidelines. So under that, we deem them affordable. We take the application, we do it as if they are truly affordable units, but we really, because it's the only way we can qualify these people and get their information, because it's income restricted. So we have to verify everything they own.
So
We did that on a voluntary basis, but the town doesn't get credit for it with the state. And again, we volunteered to do this. Did that answer your question?
Yes. Yeah, that answers. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions?
I have a question.
Sure. Is that Doris or Karen?
No, it's Karen. It's Karen. Of course, it's Karen. The Waterford Central units that you're discussing to have the 44 affordable,
Right.
do they exist at present or are they future build?
They're being built right now as we speak.
Okay. So these will be assigned as those buildings are completed. You'll open up units for the affordable.
Yeah, how it works is we do so many. So every building has the same amount of units and the same amount of models, right? So every unit has a Grantville. Every unit has a Quaker Hill. Every unit has a Great Cove, and every unit has an Oak Cove. So as a building goes up, just take the 44 divided by 6, right? Because there's 216 units in the final phase. And so that amount of people go in that unit. And then as the buildings get completed, and we're all building them all at one time, then they will get occupied. The units we have now, like, that's why I say we'll have crossover, because people who are still in phase one, we're not going to throw them out.
Okay.
And the seniors, we wouldn't even, I mean, if they wanted to move, they could have that option, but otherwise we're happy letting them stay. I mean, we have 400 units, so, you know,
Okay.
it's okay. I mean, we're not going to move these people out. They're great tenants, and, you know, we don't mind having them. They're no problem at all.
So this documentation that we're seeing today is more of a moving forward, what your plan is, rather than what you're doing tomorrow, because you're still in the process of building, correct?
No, this gets recorded right now.
No, but what I'm saying is that the building itself is in the process of being built. So these are units that will become available in the coming months.
Yes, there's 6
Right.
buildings.
Yep.
Each building is 36 units.
Yep.
As a building gets a CO, or as we start renting them, we rent the affordables, then we rent the market rates.
Okay.
And they'll be, the state basically tells us this goes there, that goes there, but we have to have this amount, and we
Yep.
have to have that model. We always have to have 15 one-bedroom grant bills, no matter what. So if somebody moves out or somebody makes too much money, we have to go to another building, the first open Grantville, and put an affordable in it. That's how it works.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions or comments?
I have just a quick question on the term affordable in comparison to workforce housing. Can you explain? I see that most of the new document refers to it as workforce, and the prior approval was under the affordable definition.
It's basically the same thing. So they're called workforce affordable housing because that's the name Chaffa gave them. And Chaffa likes to use the word workforce, even though they're affordable housing, because they are pandering to Electric Boat and General Dynamics, yelling at the state for not having enough workforce affordable housing. But they're the exact same thing. There's no difference between a workforce affordable housing and just an affordable housing.
Okay, thank you.
It's right now, it's just to make Electric Boat feel better. That's what this program is about with Chaffa.
Any other questions? Tim Bleasdale, Doris, Vic?
I think the applicant did a good job of answering the questions I had.
Okay, so he answered the questions that you posed this morning?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I am right here.
Okay.
Thank you.
Doris or Victor?
No questions at this time.
Okay, Victor?
I have no questions at this time.
Okay. Anybody want to make Mark, John, do you have any comments other than what's in your memo?
No,
Okay.
I don't. I think the staff report was pretty explanatory.
Yeah.
Just one item in the motion is that I listed findings 1 through 5. It's actually 1 through 6. I added a motion, a finding. So just didn't
Okay.
read out the motion.
Anyone want to make the proposed motion in the staff report?
Sure, Greg. I'll make the motion. I'll move that the commission adopt the findings 1 through 6 of the staff report and approve the increase in the number of workforce housing units originally designated in the Waterford Central Multifamily Development through application PL-23-9 from 18 to 44 units, which total number includes the relocation of previously designated 10 affordable units from the Waterford Woods Phase 1 development, which was approved through application PL-21-1, and they're being relocated into the previously mentioned Waterford Central development.
Okay. Great. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Tim Connery, and that's the staff report dated July 23rd, correct? Because think he said he
Sure.
added a finding, so there might have been a previous staff report, but it's the one dated July 23rd. Any discussion on the motion? All right, let's take a vote. All in favor? Aye.
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 Opposed? Any opposed? No, all in favor. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Daly.
Thank
Appreciate what
you.
your-
Thank you,
Appreciate
everybody.
the developments and your affordable housing. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Item number 5, administrative review, discussion of the plan of conservation and development update. This is on here to try to schedule some times when we can put our time aside just to try to complete this. The comments that we have, comments from staff, from legal counsel, and try to move this project to completion. I was thinking that we try to schedule some times for the beginning of September, mid-September. I don't know if anybody wants to do it in August, but if we set some times, give us a deadline, we can hopefully get it done in September, October. Any comments on that from the commission?
I think
That's good
September
with
would
me.
be better.
Tim, I heard Karen. Tim, what did you say?
I didn't say anything yet, but I think September probably would be fine.
Okay, Tim Condorino had said something I missed.
Yeah, that'll work fine for me as well.
Okay. All right.
September
and do
would
we-
work.
I'm sorry?
September works.
Oh, Doris, okay. So do we want to have a special meeting, or do we want to delineate one of the monthly meetings, one of the 2 monthly meetings to start just for this?
Is this meeting going to include any comments that we've already submitted that we can review ahead of time, like other people's comments, or would this be?
Yeah, well, that'll give us time for the staff to give everybody's comments, and see if we want to incorporate them. If we don't want to incorporate them, if we want to move them around, start to move toward a finished product. Yeah. I would think at one of our meetings in September. I don't anticipate us being extremely busy then. Do you, John or Mark?
No,
No, I don't think so. I think we at least get that, as I mentioned earlier, the public hearing for that
Yeah.
regulation amendment. We can get that scheduled either at the end of August, so at least that public hearing's out of the way. That might work out best.
Why don't we do that at the end of August then, and then we'll do the first meeting in September for this.
okay,
Does
so
that work for everyone?
Yeah.
just for
Can-
for everyone, that's the 27th of August for the reg amendment, and then we'll start the POCD comment session at work session on September 10th.
Great, and we'll do that one in person.
By then, hopefully we'll have a spot for us to all go to do that.
Well, somewhere, right?
Yeah, exactly. Hopefully we'll have our auditorium up and running by that point.
Yeah.
But
It looks
not-
great so far. Brought us into I don't know if everybody's seen it, but it brought us into the 21st century, sort of. Okay, so why don't we do that for a schedule? And I'll work with you, John and Mark, to get the summary of comments to everybody about everybody's comments. So,
Okay.
all right. Any other commission business? Any updates on any past projects, future projects?
So I can update you on the, we have advertised for our moratorium, for certificate of affordable housing completion, which will lead to, which if approved, would grant the town a 4-year moratorium. We published it on the 9th of September. We have a 20-day advertising period. It's published on the website. It is available in the town clerk's office. It is available, the document itself is available in our office, town clerk's office, on the website. We published in the Law Journal, Connecticut Law Journal, the New London Day. And we also put notice on the website as well. Thus far, we have not received any comments. There was an article in the newspaper. I don't know if you read it. And we're just waiting to see if we get anything. And then once the comment period closes, we will take any comments we do receive And we will then submit our application up to the state.
Any other updates?
No, we have two preliminary applications that we're working on. Not ready for formal yet, but Williams School property on Bloomingdale Road Athletic Fields. They're looking to install a pavilion there. That's still, they went through conservation, got their inland wetlands permit, and now they're gonna be coming to us as a formal application for that. Second one preliminary is the Benvenuti Oil Company off of Boston Post Road. Excuse me, by the New London line near Supreme Pizza. They're looking at doing they own several of those properties, not just the oil company property itself, but probably 3 or 4 of the single families that front on Route 1 right there. They're looking to consolidate. At this point, they want to create a separate building, a garage for their oil trucks, and potentially to lease out space in those bays. So anyway, that's in a preliminary review. We'll be seeing that at some point in time.
Very great. Any questions for anyone? Karen?
Out of curiosity, when does the Civic Triangle Park, when do they are going to open that? Do we know?
Forgive me, I forgot to give an update on that. We are planning to have that open, have substantial construction completion ready for an opening ceremony for the 9th of August. Currently, most of the work on the interior of the pond with the walkways, boardwalk, lights, tree installation. We're trying to grow grass. That's proving to be a little challenging in August, but we are working on it. All the ADA pathways up in the parkway the park have been installed. We are working on next week, the handicapped accessible parking spaces will be installed. And the streetscape will be, I believe they're going to be working on that this week and next week to finish that off. But we have about just about half of the concrete sidewalk and granite curbs installed on the street, all of the street lights and all the street trees.
Okay, great. Anything else for anybody? No? Great. Isn't there a date though for it, Mark? Isn't there like a celebration on it or something?
Oh, the 9th is going to be, there's going to be an inauguration ceremony that night on August 9th.
Okay.
And so that's the official opening. Fences will be down. Park will still be in, still growing grass and plants and stuff, but the construction will be done and it'll be open to the public.
Great. Okay. If there's nothing else, motion to adjourn.
That's it. Motion.
So moved.
Okay, Tim moved to adjourn, seconded by myself. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Great. Thanks. Enjoy the nice weather. See you in a couple weeks.
Have a good evening.
Good evening.
Take care.